Today I would like to talk about one of the most misunderstood macronutrients out there, fats. You know, I'm all about helping you to get into your best physical and mental shape, right? And fats, well, they're not the enemy. They're your ally when you choose the right ones. And in this video, I'm going to break it all down for you, including why fats are crucial in your diet, as well as the worst and best fats to eat and why. So let's get straight into it. Okay, so why are eating healthy fats so important? Well, fats are essential macronutrients. They're not optional. Your body literally cannot function without them. Think about it. Every single cell in your body has a membrane made largely of fats. And these lipids are what keeps your cells intact, allowing nutrients in and waste out. Fats are critical for hormone production, including being the essential building blocks for your sex hormones like testosterone and estrogen. They're synthesized from cholesterol, which is a type of fat. They're also super important for your adrenals too. And we all know how common adrenal fatigue and stress are these days. And so without adequate healthy fats, your body struggles to produce and regulate key hormones like cortisol and other adrenal hormones that manage stress. And so this throws your entire endocrine system into chaos, leading to imbalances with symptoms like fatigue, mood swings, poor stress management, low libido, low blood pressure, weight gain, and digestive issues. But it's not just hormones. Fats are vital for your brain health. Your brain is about 60% fat by dry weight, and it thrives on high quality fats for neurotransmitter function and myelin sheathing. That's the insulation around your nerves that keeps signals firing quickly. Without enough, you might experience brain fog, poor focus, or even increased risk of neurodegenerative issues down the line. Fats also play a huge role in nutrient absorption. For example, vitamins A, D, E, and K are fat soluble, meaning they need fats to be properly absorbed and utilized. Skip the fats and you're basically wasting those vitamins from your veggies or supplements. Plus, fats provide a steady energy source. Unlike carbs that spike your blood sugar and crash you later, fats burn slowly and steady, keeping your energy levels stable and helping to keep satiety so that you're not constantly hungry all the time. You know, low-fat diets were all the rage in the 80s and 90s, but they wreaked havoc. Without healthy fats, your skin gets dry and flaky because fats maintain the skin barrier and integrity. Your joints ache more because fats lubricate them and reduce inflammation. Digestion suffers because fats help produce bile for breaking down food. And metabolically, you're likely to gain excess weight because when you deprive your body of fats, it holds on to what little it has, slowing your metabolism and increasing cravings for sugary junk. And worse yet, low fat intake can lead to deficiencies like essential fatty acids like omega-3s, which are linked to higher inflammation, heart disease risk, depression, and immune dysfunction. So your body starts breaking down muscle for energy instead of fat stores, and you end up with that stubborn belly fat that's hard to shake. And this is why people on low-fat diets also often have elevated cortisol, imbalanced thyroid, and poor cholesterol profiles. Not the good HDL kind, but the oxidized inflammatory stuff. Bottom line, fats aren't just important, they're non-negotiable for optimal health. But it's all about quality, which brings us to the next section. Okay, so now let's talk about which fats to embrace and which ones to ditch, because the reality is that not all fats are created equal. Some will fuel your body like premium gasoline, while others will clog it up like sludge. And so I'll start with the worst ones, which I don't have any examples here because I don't buy them. And then I'll move into the best, both for raw consumption and cooking. And as promised, I'll break down the different types of fats, unsaturated fats, both the mono and poly, as well as saturated and trans. But first, the villains, trans fats. Now these are mostly artificially created through hydrogenation, which is a process where manufacturers add hydrogen to liquid oils, basically to make them solid, like margarine or in shortening. Now, trans fats are unsaturated in structure but behave terribly in your body because they raise your bad LDL cholesterol whilst lowering your good HDL, and they promote inflammation and insulin resistance. And studies showed that they're linked to heart disease, diabetes, and even cancer. And you find them basically in all processed foods like, fried items and baked goods and anything with partially hydrogenated oils on the label. So just avoid them entirely because no safe amount exists. Now, the next worst is certain fats is polyunsaturated fats, especially from the industrial seed oils like canola, soybean, corn, sunflower, and safflower oils. Polyunsaturated fats come in two main flavors, omega-3s and omega-6s. Now, omega-3s are anti-inflammatory and awesome, and we'll get to those. But most seed oils are loaded with omega-6s, which in excess promote chronic inflammation, oxidative stress, and cellular damage. And these oils are highly processed, often with dangerous chemicals, and they oxidize easily when heated. The result being that they create free radicals that age you from the inside out. In cooking, they break down to toxic compounds like aldehydes, which are linked to Alzheimer's and heart issues. And research shows that high omega-6 intake correlates with poor inflammatory markers and hormone disruptions. So just be sure to ditch these for both cooking and in salads because they're really nothing more than cheap fillers in processed foods, which are sabotaging your health. Next is saturated fats, which often get a really bad rap, mostly because of cholesterol, which I'll get into a moment, but they're not all evil. And so I just want to spend a few minutes talking about why they're actually good for you, especially when they come from real meat, and which ones to avoid. Now, saturated fats are solid at room temperature, like the fat in a juicy grass-fed steak or coconut oil. Because they have no double bonds, they're super stable. They don't oxidize easily when you cook, which means that they won't create harmful free radicals in your body. Now, these fats give you steady, long-lasting energy. They help to build hormones like testosterone and estrogen and form the structure of every cell membrane. Your brain loves them too. It's over 60% fat, and saturated fats keep nerve signals firing fast. Now, meat, high quality sources like grass-fed beef, wild-caught salmon, or free-range chicken, it's all we buy really, are all packed with saturated fats, plus bioavailable protein, B vitamins, iron, and zinc. And eating about 170 grams or 6 ounces of red meat a day barely nudges LDL in studies, and many centenarians who live past 100 had naturally high cholesterol, which is proof that cholesterol really isn't the villain. And so a good way to look at it is that cholesterol is like the scab that forms over a cut on your skin. It's your body's natural healing response, rushing in to seal and repair the damaged blood vessel wall, not the cause of the actual injury itself. And so the real cause is actually chronic inflammation from sugar, stress, smoking, or cheap seed oils, not the steak. And so the problem isn't saturated fat, it's actually inflammation. When inflammation is low, your body actually uses saturated fats to repair and thrive. And when it's high, calcium piles up in your arteries as a band-aid, hardening into plaque. That's what raises risk, not the fat itself. So what meats to avoid? Well, skip processed junk like deli meats, sausages, hot dogs, and anything with nitrates or fillers. You know, they're cheap, loaded with inflammatory seed oils, sugar, and additives that sabotage your health. So stick to whole unprocessed cuts from animals raised on pasture or in the wild. That's where the magic happens. And be sure that they are also finished on grass too, not on grains, because that's where a lot of people get caught out. Now, what else should you eat? Well, some of the best unsaturated fats are monounsaturated fats, like in olive oil, which we go through probably about a litre of olive oil a week, in avocados and nuts, especially macadamia nuts, which would go through a packet of these a week too, full of good fats in there. They're heart healthy, help to reduce bad cholesterol and inflammation while supporting blood vessel function. For raw or cold, be sure to use extra virgin olive oil, because it's really gold. Just drizzle it on salads for its polyphenols that help to fight oxidation. Avocado oil is similar. It's mild flavor and great for dressings. For polyunsaturated fats, you want to focus on omega-3 rich ones, like fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, and sardines, which I also eat a lot of. Flax seeds, chia seeds, and walnuts. All these, combat inflammation, support brain health, and really help to balance out those omega-6s. You can eat these raw, cold. Don't cook with flaxseed oil as it oxidizes, and you want to aim for a 1:1 to 1:2 omega-3 to omega-6 ratio, because most people are eating a 1:20 ratio from their junk diets, which is detrimental. And for cooking, you want to go with stable, saturated, monounsaturated fats that have high smoke points and don't oxidize. Coconut oil is fantastic. It's mostly saturated, antimicrobial, from lauric acid, and it's great for a medium heat cooking like stir fries, although it can change the flavor, which is why we use also a lot of ghee, which is clarified butter, which is, it's another winner. Saturated, but lactose free with a high smoke point for searing meats, which is what we often use it for. Grass-fed butter, is loaded with butyrate for gut health. Avocado oil also shines here as well. Monounsaturated with a super high smoke point, which is perfect for roasting veggies or frying eggs. Although it can be expensive, which is why I don't often buy it. However, I do eat a lot of avocados. So, in summary, avoid trans fats and omega-6 heavy seed oils like the plague, and instead embrace monounsaturated for versatility, omega-3s, polys for anti-inflammation, and quality saturated for stability. And because this will help optimize your cellular health, reduce disease risk, and keep you energized. Track your intake, aim for 50 to 75% of your calories from fats if you're low carb, like I recommend, but always from whole sources. So forget the low fat anything, it's rubbish. And remember to start small, track how you feel. Remember, it's about, quality over quantity. So yeah, let me know, how often do you choose healthy fats over unhealthy fats in your diet? Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, share, And subscribe to learn more about the other essential attributes of staying in your best shape. And until next time, watch what you chew, do what you need to do, and always live true.